Hey guys, Justin here, and it's time for another installment in my Beginner's Tips series. This is going to be Beginner's Tips number 6. It's going to be on nutrients. I have a whole bunch of Remo nutrients here and a whole bunch of other brands as well. Remo did go ahead and send me out one of their supercharged packs to take a look at. I've used their nutrients in the past. They work really great. I'm excited to use them again. I'm going to go through those and some of the other nutrients that I have here to show you guys exactly what these do. Now it's just going to be a high level view, so I'm not really going to get like deep dive into all the nerdy science and everything. If anybody wants to do that, feel free to do that in the comments below, but I'm just going to do a very basic high level view of a lot of these products. And a great place to start is going to be on the base nutrients, which is going to be the Grow, the Bloom, and the Micro for this Remo series. Another one that you can use, there's many base nutrients out there. I've also used Mills, which is another one that's just a part A, part B, same sort of thing. You can see they've got the NPK ratios on them. That's nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Nitrogen is going to be more for your rooting, your vegetative growth, your leaves, that sort of thing, stems. The phosphorus, the middle one, is going to be more for bud production and growth, and the last one is going to actually be for just overall plant health in general and strength. So you want all three, but you want them at different ratios throughout the whole cycle. So what we've got from Remo is you've got the Grow and the Micro, which you'll use during veg, and then during flower you'll switch over to Micro and Bloom, and you can see it changes the NPK ratios. You got a lot more nitrogen there, a lot less nitrogen there, because you want less nitrogen for flower. And so that's pretty much your base nutrient. You can consider that just like the engine of the car. That's going to power most of your growing. Now you can get by on just using those base nutrients, those just regular NPK base nutrients. Not a problem. You can do that just like you can drive your car with the regular engine, the stock engine, and everything. Now, if you want to give that a little bit of a leg up, you can start adding parts to your car and to your grow. Say you put on a new exhaust, a new intake, new spark plugs, better gas. You do all these little things. None of them are going to be a massive change on their own, but you add them all up and they become a bigger effect. You get into your add-ons and stuff, and Calmag is actually one of the first ones that you'll want to get. This is usually very important in a grow, especially if you're using cocoa and a lot of other soil and soilless medium. This right here is going to give you nitrogen, calcium, magnesium, and iron. And like I said, the calcium and the magnesium are usually the first two micronutrients that you end up missing out on that sometimes aren't provided enough in your base nutrient. So that's definitely something to pick up. Another thing to pick up is going to be the VeloKelp. Any sort of kelp-based product is really good to use in your grow. I'll show you guys the ingredients here. Very little nitrogen, very little NPK really. It's mostly going to be the kelp extract. There's two different kinds on here. And then it also has humic acid. Now humic acid is another additive that you can use to boost. And the kelp and the humic acid actually work together in synergy to increase each other's value, I guess you would say. So if you use the two combined, like in this product, or this product as well has it, the Zeus juice. This one I've used a bunch of as well. You can see you've got kelp extract and humic acid. So those two working together is just incredible. You boost your uptake. The kelp helps out with a lot of just your general plant health, and metabolism. And the humic acid is actually going to bind to the nutrients and help, and it piggybacks up on the uptake. It piggybacks the nutrients onto it and goes up into the plant and just basically just packs more nutrients into your plant. So that's what the humics are for. And you can also use, as I was saying, for the Magic or the Calmag, you can use different brands. This is Calmag. It has less nitrogen. Some people like less nitrogen. Some people like more nitrogen. It's really just depends on whatever you want to do personally. Then we go over to this side here, and we got more of the flower-based nutrients. You can use, and you'll want to use, Calmag and the Velo-Kelp throughout veg for sure, and some in flower. But these, you'll definitely want to use during flower. The Nature's Candy, you can use at any point in time. It's going to be more to feed your beneficial bacteria, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. But that's going to have, I'll show you the ingredients on that here as well. Looking at magnesium, sulfur, and iron. So it does have some extra mag in there, but it's mostly going to be amino acids and carbohydrates to feed the soil and the microbe life. And so that's going to give you better flowers, bigger flowers, and help your plant to be able to absorb more nutrients. The Astro Flower is Remo Nutrients Bud Booster. Now there's a lot of bud boosters out there. This is one of them. You can see the extremely high ratios that are on it there, the 1:6:11, super high ratio. Definitely going to kick some bud production out there. But even that, I mean, compared to the base nutrient, that's really high. But there, you can actually go a lot higher than that. I use these as well, which is like the Fox Farms Beastie Blooms. This is a powdered soluble nutrient, and this is a bloom booster that is extremely powerful, 0-50-30. So no nitrogen, just a ton of phosphorus and potassium, just a ton of everything. You got to be real careful with this stuff because it is super, super potent. You can burn the shit out of your plants with this, but if you use it right, it is an extremely, extremely good bud booster. And then another one is the Cha-Ching, that's for more late flower, for building oils and just resining up your plants at the end. I really dig this one a lot too. I use both of those. So that's your bud boosters. That's going to help you in late flower, more like week 4 plus. Then you start using your bud boosters when you really start packing it on. And you can also use other products like this. This is Prozyme. It's not a nutrient so much as it's just an enzyme boost. So it helps with uptake and metabolism of your plant, really. There's a lot that you do that's not really a nutrient. A lot of these, they're not really nutrients. They're not going to give your soil or your plant any more nutritional value. They're just going to help you absorb the nutrients that you've already given, if that makes sense. That's what a lot of these are for. It helps your plant be able to use more, to feed more, to eat more, to have a better metabolism, to just be able to be a better plant, a stronger, more vigorous, more resistant to mold and mildew, more resistant to bugs, everything. And another thing to help out with that is Silica. So this is a product that I use. There's many different ones. This is just one that I'm using currently from General Hydroponics, Armorsty. This is, again, not really a whole lot of NPK, but it's just a silica supplement for you. And this is going to strengthen your stems and make your leaves stand up straight so that they can absorb more light. Helps a little bit of stress and things like that too. So super helpful. And then speaking of super helpful, we get into beneficials here. Microbes. This is the microbes that I'm currently using. There are a ton of microbes out there. Mammoth Pea is one of them. The Extreme Gardening, these guys, they make microbes as well. There's just a bunch of them out there. This is the one I'm currently using just because it's fairly cheap. I mean, none of them are really cheap. These are usually pretty expensive. But this one has a lot of microbes in it. A lot of different ones and a lot of them. And you can either mix it in with your water or you can sprinkle it on the soil. and this is going to help with uptake. Beneficial bacteria and fungi. Living soil. Now, with the fungi, I do use the Extreme Gardening Mycos. I love this product. I use this during veg. On every single transplant, I inoculate the roots with this, and that helps out just an amazing amount in veg. Now, in flower, I don't really use it because in flower, these high phosphorus nutrients, especially the bloom boosters over here, they kill the myco. So they actually kill your fungus because it's just so strong. So I don't really use it during flower, but I do use the beneficial bacteria because they seem to be able to survive somewhat with the high phosphorus load. Now, if you're not using the high phosphorus load and you're just going with just the base nutrients, sure, maybe throw some myco in there. Or if you're doing a full organic grow, then of course you're going to be using myco a bunch. Now I don't want to miss out touching on a couple of things that you really need to have for your grow to make sure that you're watering with the proper nutrient levels and the proper pH. Because if you don't have the proper pH level, your plant actually cannot uptake the nutrients that you're giving it. So you need to get yourself a pH pen of some sort. You want to get a decent one. Spend a little bit of money on it. pH pens are kind of a pain in the ass. This is a Blue Lab pH pen. I've had the best luck with Blue Lab. They are also one of the more expensive ones. So I guess you do get what you pay for, but they're not perfect. pH pens are kind of finicky. You gotta clean them. You gotta keep them in a solution. You gotta calibrate them every once in a while. But it's really important. So you have this thing here, you mix up your nutrients, you turn it on, you stick this in the water, you take the little cap off and you put the probe in the water, and it'll show you what your pH is and the temperature of your water. You want to be at 6.3 to 6.5 on your pH, and that's going to be your best uptake for regular soil. Cocoa is around 6, 5.8 to 6. Hydro is going to be like 5.5, 5.8, somewhere around there. So yeah, that's pH meter. Definitely get one. Another thing that's super nice, and this is definitely my favorite one I've ever owned, is a nutrient meter. This is basically parts per million, or EC, it's going to tell you. And this one will tell you both. It'll tell you EC, or 2 different ppm readings if you want TDS or EC times 700. So that's gonna, you can use this to mix your nutrients too. It's just a stir stick. So I mix my nutrients in the bucket, and while I'm mixing, it tells me how strong my nutrients are. This thing is awesome. It's super bulletproof. I've had it for I think like 3 or 4 years. Still works great. Got to keep the probes clean on the end. That's the only thing. And yeah, it's killer. I love this thing. So this is going to tell you how strong your nutrient load is that you're currently mixing. I tend to keep mine for veg around 600 to 800, and then for flower, first few weeks of flower I'll push like 1,000 to 1,200, and then the rest of the weeks I'll go like 14, maybe 1,500. And for 1,500, it'll just flash in between these two. It'll just flash, and that'll tell you that it's at 1,500 or 2.8 EC, 2.9, maybe 3. Yeah, probably 3 is where 15 would be. So yeah, this thing is awesome. I love it, and it's very essential. Another essential Remo does give with their supercharged kit is just a basic measuring cup that you want to have milliliters on. So you got that right there to mix all the nutrients. But yeah, and the other thing you want to look at is the schedule. So this Remo Supercharged Kit does have a schedule. This is their little brochure here. They have a schedule on the back that shows you just to mix up 1 gallon. But if you go to their website, you can actually tailor it to what you specifically have. So I mix up 3 gallons at a time, and I do 1 batch per week. So I put red size 3 gallons, 1 batch per week, 1 room, 4 weeks vegetation, 8 weeks flower. So I put all that info in there, and it calculated exactly what I need to do per week of each product. So 24 milligrams, 24 milligrams, I went blank there for a second, 24 milligrams per 3-gallon mix per week of each of these, and then you get into the later ones, the later weeks, and it goes up to 30 milligrams. And it actually tells you, or milliliters, that's why I was going blank. It's not milligrams, it's milliliters. Durr. So yeah, milliliters. Go over here and it'll tell you the exact amount that you need for the entire grow cycle. So that's super helpful, because now you know exactly what you need out of each bottle for your entire grow, and you can even plan out how many grows that each bottle will last you, or how big of a bottle you need. So really cool and helpful thing that they have on their website there that you can go ahead and check out. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I've pretty much covered it. If you have any other questions beyond what I've gone and explained here, go ahead and put those in the comments. If you have anything that you want to expand on here in a positive manner, I don't want you to go down in the comments and just tell me how wrong I am, because I don't really care. I've been doing this a long time. I've used all these products that I have in front of me here, and they all work quite well. So there's not really a whole lot that anyone can say to disprove that, because I've got videos to back it up. So if you want to add some constructive comments and maybe explain a little bit more about, like, say, the reactions of kelp, or the benefits of bacteria, or the different grow bloom micronutrients, or whatever, best way to clean a ppm meter, any sort of tips like that, go ahead and leave those in the comments below. Be sure to give a thumbs up, a like, all that good stuff. And that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this this installment of the Beginner's Tips series. And until next time, guys, happy growing.